Hi, friends. Several of you have emailed me with some questions and concerns about the exam, and I thought I'd address as many of these that were in common together in a single video. Uh, the first question is, how do I know how well I did on the exam? Uh, for that, you need a little bit of context. So the average score on the exam was 75%. With the median or 50th percentile score at about 79%. How do I know what my grade is on the exam? Well, I don't assign grades on any given exam. I wait to assign grades till the end of the semester. I add up all of the points, and then I start to assign grades based on the cutoffs that are described in the syllabus. That is, 93 and above is an A, 90 to 93 is an A minus, 87 to 90 is a B plus, and so on. And I make you the guarantee that it will never be more difficult to earn a B plus than getting 87% of the points. So if you score 870 points or above this semester, you are guaranteed to get at least a B plus. However, sometimes class performance is such that lowering the cutoffs a little bit is justified. To see whether or not that is likely to be the case, you just look at the 50th percentile score and see how close it is to the 80 to 83% range. Typically, the 50th percentile score or median score in this class ends up being between a B and a B minus. So in this case, if you scored about 79% of the points on this exam, you're on track to be in the probably B minus-ish range. And I won't know really till the end of the semester what those cutoffs are likely to be, but just pay attention to that median score and that can give you a general sense. Also understand that if you scored below the 50th percentile score, likely those cutoffs are a lot lower than, or substantially lower than, published in the syllabus. For example, the cutoff between D and C minus tends to be substantially lower than 70%. And in fact, in order to get a failing grade in this class, you sort of have to get less than 50% of the available points. So chances are things are not quite as bad as you thought they were. However, many of you have still said that your score on the exam is not what you had hoped it would be. So what's my advice for you in that situation? Well, first, you need to do some self-assessment, all right? Are you studying in damage control mode, or are you practicing for OChem every day? This class is way more about what you can do than facts that you can memorize or know. There are some classes where you can take the class in damage control mode and do quite well. What is damage control mode? Well, this is where you focus exclusively on the one class that has a test this week and let the others slide, and then you rotate. For example, suppose I have a physics test this week, all my efforts go toward physics, then next week I have a test in neuroscience or something, so I focus on that. Oh, and third week it's time for the OChem test, and so I've been ignoring OChem, but now I'm going to focus on it and try to get it all done. That approach works notoriously poorly for OChem, and the reason is that it doesn't give you enough time to practice the skills that you need to be successful. You would never try to prepare for a musical performance or a game by delaying all of your practice or training into the 24 to 48 hours immediately prior to the event, right? And the reason for that is because that would not give you enough time to develop the skills that you're going to need during the performance. You need to view OChem as very much like practicing for a musical performance or an athletic event. You've got to give yourself time to build the skills and the endurance to be successful. So if you're studying in damage control mode, the first thing to do is to make time to do OChem every day. Now, suppose you're already doing that, but you're still finding that your score is lower than you hoped. What that likely means is that you have some misconceptions, misunderstandings, and mistakes that you didn't identify prior to taking the exam. And these hidden misunderstandings, misconceptions, and mistakes are insidious because you can't fix what you can't see. And if you can't see it and you can't fix it, but then you're still vulnerable in that area when it comes to the exam. For example, every semester some students get mixed up about how to assign E and Z stereochemical configuration to alkenes. They get mixed up on how to assign priority and how that process works. They think they're comparing the weight of a whole group attached to the carbon of the alkene instead of an atom by atom comparison. And that is something that could have been detected in advance, but if you don't detect and fix it, then you've got trouble. How is it that you might fail to detect a misconception or a misunderstanding or a mistake? Well, often when you're studying in damage control mode, you don't have a lot of time on any particular assignment. So you look at a problem, you try to do it very quickly, and then you look at the solutions manual to see what the answer was. And if you got the question wrong, in damage control mode, because you don't have a lot of time, what you often do is say, okay, I see now, I see that was my mistake, and you move on without actually taking steps to fix it. That's like going to the doctor and getting diagnosed for something, but not taking the doctor's advice or taking any medicine to fix the situation. When you get a study guide problem or a practice exam problem wrong, that is an indication that there is something that you don't understand, some misconception that you've missed. So that is then your opportunity to understand that issue and go back and fix it. So I would keep a running list as you do study guides and practice exams of concepts and skills that you are making mistakes on. Then, as you're studying, take steps to address those specific issues. Then test yourself and see whether you fix the issue by finding a similar problem in the book or on the practice exam and seeing whether you can get it right the first time unassisted. This running list of vulnerabilities you have is your personalized training or study list for the exam. And that way, when you're preparing for the exam, instead of trying to cram all the information in and review it all, you focus your time on the places where you are most vulnerable. And that allows you to leverage your time in the way that it's most likely to yield dividends on the exam. Finally, going forward, how can I improve, or is all lost? Well, all is never lost. The exam one is 20% of the available points. However, there are still 650 points in play from the two future midterm exams and the final exam. So there's lots of opportunity for improvement. If you take some of the steps I've described here, you will see some improvement. Now, if you have more specific and individualized concerns, I'm happy to talk about that. I will make some time available in the next few days for one-on-one discussions. But until then, focus on what I've talked about and making these changes. The most important thing you can do right now is to implement these changes for the material we're currently working on. With that, I wish you the best of luck. Know that I'm rooting for you. I believe in you. You can do this. And we'll talk to you again soon.